Okay, so this video is exclusively for my personal YouTube page of James Williams Jr., aka Echo Van Gogh. We're going to talk about Pretendians, but before we do that, we are going to talk about folklore. And we're going to do all this in one video. So first, here's what's not native folklore. Griffins. We have no griffins in native folklore. If there's a native watching this right now and we have griffins, well then you need to come tell my 51-year-old ass that story. Because the only griffins I learned about was in Greek mythology and Egyptian mythology in regular ass grade school. Alright? Now, I've never been to a residential school, and I may be the descendant of a residential school survivor. I'm still looking for that information. Anyway, there are no griffins in Native American folklore. All right, there are different aspects of animals, and there are different folklore. The Pretendians do not have this information, so I will be careful and mindful for what I put on the internet, so that they cannot get this information. So, if you watched my last video, I talked about Bigfoot and Sasquatch because I got the idea from this channel here in YouTube. Now, to be honest with you, I really sorry, I know more about Bigfoot than I could ever possibly know about Wendigo. I am still doing research on other Algonquin folklore, such as the water sprite thing and the water serpent thing, that is Ojibwa legend of something about crossing the water, and the other one with the water sprites, how they drown children and turn them into these water sprites, which is why at certain times of the day they tell native children to not be near the river because it may be the last thing you ever do. Okay. Now, other folklore I'm going to leave off. I will give them an honorable mention right now. Hopi with Coyote the Trickster. I want to say it's Navajo. It might be Lakota. It might be both with the Deer Woman. I would like to say Thunderbird is multilateral, but also Alaskan Natives as well as Ojibwa and other First Nations. But Thunderbird has also been more of a plains folklore. And then who am I missing? There are different folklores involving animals, like the crows, the wolves, the bear, and I'm not real versed in all of them. I remember certain shit my great grandmother taught me, but outside of that, blank. Which is actually good because I have a big mouth, so that means I don't get accused of sharing things that I shouldn't be accused of sharing. Now that we got that out the way, so that we get this right, start asking Pretendians, if you happen to come across them, about their tribal folklore. All right? Now, Bigfoot's universal, so they will be able to give you enough information on Bigfoot that will slide. And if, all right, we're talking about Bigfoot. So, if every tribe known to man, not just Native Americans, but Asia, Russia, Siberia, all these people have a Bigfoot story. So, if Bigfoot's universal, they really can't use Bigfoot. But if they start talking about Wendigo, you gotta ask them, are they gonna talk about the Creek or the Ojibwa legends of Wendigo? Or if they happen to mention Swift Runner, who was a native who became a victim of Wendigo psychosis and unalived his entire fucking family. And I think he served time, but I don't think they gave him a lot of time, and I'm not really sure because I can't remember if they unalived his ass or not. But Wendigo psychosis is also a thing, and the Wendigo is basically started with the medicine man that went to the dark side, if you would, and then his story, it kind of coincides with skinwalkers because they were also medicine men and women who yielded to the dark side and started doing evil, malicious things to others. So they were cursed to be the shape-shifting behemoths, so these shape-shifting monsters that plagued the Native community. The thing is with Wendigos, though, they stalk, they imprint, and they hunt. Where skinwalkers basically have rules like vampires. As long as you don't invite them in, and as long as you don't whistle at night, then you're probably gonna be okay. But like Thunderbird, from what I was taught, was a spirit of vengeance. The Deer Woman, what I also was taught, was that she was a spirit of vengeance. But that also changes tribally, because I have had a native correct me from what they know about Thunder. I mean, God damn it, Deer Woman, than what I know about Deer Woman. I was always taught to believe that she was a spirit of vengeance and she just hated men for something that had happened to her that we won't go into detail on here. But I could be wrong. Yeah, I could definitely be wrong. And as I said before, a native woman corrected me on the Deer Woman. So, but her story of Deer Woman ain't the same as the one I was told about Deer Woman. And understand that when tribes do talk and meet and things, they do have cultural exchange, which means sometimes the stories can be convoluted and twisted, which is why I can't remember everything in stories, again, changed tribally. So, the Pretendians don't have this knowledge. They think that griffins and dragons are part of native folklore. Now, I can't confirm dragons either way, but I can damn sure confirm that griffins are not in native folklore that I know of. All right? I could be wrong, but I have never heard a native say anything about a griffin before TikTok. All right? So, I mean, fuck me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that griffins are not a part of Native American folklore, but these Pretendians tend to use griffins, and that is as their backdoor policy. They may have watched one too many episodes of Game of Thrones, or they may have read one too many Greek mythology books and decided, well, we're going to erase Black history and replace it with Greek and Egyptian mythology, because griffins are also in Egyptian mythology. So, if Pretendians start talking about griffins and dragons and dinosaurs, then they are not native. All right? They are not native. Now, dinosaurs have been proven to exist. We have not technically been able to prove that dragons exist, unless dragons are the remains of what was once dinosaurs, because you only remember like certain dinosaurs can fly, other dinosaurs couldn't. And T-Rex and the Turbosaurus was like the two biggest dinosaurs next to the ate meat, next to the Brachiosaurus. But none of these dinosaurs were proven to have wings. Well, dragons have wings, but they are basically dinosaurs. So you kind of got to question that when it comes to the Pretendians talking about some dragons, griffins, and dinosaurs, and having beautiful women ride a Kodiak bear. No, you did not fuck with the bear. Natives did not fuck with bears, not as pets. They respected the bear. They stayed out of the bear's territory. All right, and that does not change tribally. There are very few native stories about them fucking rolling in the forest with bears. Okay, now if you are a native that roll with bears, I would love to hear your story. All right, because in my 51 years of life, I've never heard of that outside of Brave Star, Eyes of the Hawk, Ears of the Wolf, Strength of the Bear, Speed of the Puma. But I'm pretty sure that they had to consult with whatever tribe they used for Brave Star before they made the cartoon. The same way with any Marvel native character, they do go and get native consultants so that they get this shit accurate. All right, just want to put that out there, and especially if this gets back to Marvel, I need a job. I'm half native, half black, half white, and I look native enough to pass, so give me a job. Anyway, you have to do some retconning because I'm actually pretty short. I'm only 5'3.5". I got a guy who would be perfect for certain jobs. His name is David. I follow him on TikTok. I'm pretty sure I'm mispronouncing his name. Big guy, North Carolina native. Big guy, really big guy. And I wouldn't really do it without his blessing and consulting. I'm older than him, but he's a full blood. So I would love to have his blessing and consulting if Marvel gives me a job. He's going to be the first motherfucker I reach out to, outside of some of my female activists that I follow for their blessings. Anyway, moving on. Pretendians don't seem to understand that European Americans did not come here on Zeppelins. If you have no idea what a Zeppelin is, please Google it. Also, listen to the immigration song from Led Zeppelin. Now, the thing with Pretendians is that they're trying to erase black culture and Native American culture at the same time, as they try to say that Native Americans and American Indians are two different people. But American Indians were first before the term Native American, making it politically correct. All right? So I'm not going to give you too much information on that. I just want to make sure you understand that griffins, dragons, and dinosaurs are not native folklore. Where if you want to talk native folklore, if they start talking about coyote, or they start talking about thunderbird, or they start talking about a deer woman, then they may know their stuff. Where when they start bringing in griffins, dragons, and dinosaurs into the mix, they may know absolutely nothing. Now, again, Coyote the Trickster, I would say that he was probably one of the baddest mofos there was. Not only could he do certain things, and not only was he a thief, but he liked to play tricks on people. He is basically the Native American Loki. Only, I don't think he was misogynist. So there's more I still need to research on Coyote the Trickster. But for a good example, if you want to learn more about Coyote the Trickster, there's an episode of Gargoyles that features Coyote the Trickster twice. All right? So there's that. Now, outside of that, there is no cartoon that features the Deer Woman or Thunderbird, but there are native superheroes that also talk about these entities, except for the Deer Woman. There's no comic book that talks about the Deer Woman. There is a comic that does talk about Coyote. It's literally called Coyote. It's an offset of Marvel. Good luck finding it. Now, getting away from that, I'm going to end this video on Pretendians and what they do. All right, so I'm part Native, I'm part Black, I'm part White. That bio should be on this thing. I'll double check it. You got to understand the Pretendians think that Black people are indigenous to the Americas, but somehow they lost to the Siberian Native Americans, which are my ancestors, and they lost to white people, who are also my ancestors, who brought over my African ancestors. I know that was complex, but they believe that American Indians are Black people and the Native Americans are the natives of today. And this goes to show you that the education system has failed, and Felon 47, aka Trump, is only going to make Black people look dumber from this point on. Anyway, being that said, no, Black people are not. No, Black people are not indigenous to the Americas. They have no scientific evidence. There's no archaeological evidence. There's no biological evidence, and there's no archaic evidence that we were here before 1492. But these Pretendians will go out of their way to push that narrative, so don't believe it. If they are phenotypically Black and they start talking about griffins, dragons, and dinosaurs, they are not native. They are not American Indians. They're just using that as a way to try to get money or land. We don't know what the end goal game is, but they're erasing my Black side and they're erasing my native side, and I'm not going to stand for that. So that being said, I am Echo Fan Grey Wolf, aka James Williams Jr. This is my personal YouTube page. I have 17 followers, so before I go any further, this is my second video. So let me say thank you to the 17 beautiful people who magically found me. If you want to see other stuff, I want to say the link is in the bio, but if it's not, you can find me on Kung Fu Havoc #2. I will put that in the title. All right? You might not want to go there if you are a Trump supporter, because I do not support Felon 47. He does not like Black people. He doesn't like Native people. And to be honest, he doesn't like anybody who's not rich. So if you are poor and European or poor and white, don't take it the wrong way, he don't like y'all either. And he just used you all to fuck us all so that he doesn't go to jail. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Be seeing you.